Hello guys and welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to discuss about Asus's laptop lineup, which is disclosed during this CES or like revealed. So we are going to talk about like Asus have refreshed their entire lineup across the board with AMD. Like okay, AMD is like the only thing to go by here. Like there is one model which is using Intel CPUs, Tiger Lake ones, 10th generation, but most of these models right now are using AMD. So we are going to talk about that later, but let's start with the previous year's favorite one, G14, and it's like its hierarchical successor G15. So we are going to talk about both of them like simultaneously. So the G14 is like the variant that G14 is the laptop that released past year that showed the real gaming capacity of AMD. Like that's the reason why this year most of the laptop integrators would be using AMD as a major CPU instead of the fact that it released earlier. So like both G14 and G15 would be coming in grey and white. If you don't trust yourself that you could clean the white surface clean, so you can buy the grey one, and they would be coming with a screen of 1440p this time. That's a 144 Hz refresh rate panel. That's for G14, and the processors would be Ryzen 9 5900H. That's similar for both of them, whereas G15 would be coming with RTX 3080 and G16 would be coming at RTX 3060. G14. So like this is something I like acceptable. So this could create a separate differentiation between both the laptops. And yes, G14 would have that anime matrix display still with itself, whereas G15 won't be having like anything like that. The battery would be 90 watt hour with 100 watt USB-C charging supported. That's something like really additional feature that I like, because USB-C like in itself is something like a leap to the future, I would say, in the terms of AMD or Intel or Nvidia. Like in the terms of corporates, it's a leap to the future. So whereas like even though it support 100 watts charging by USB-C, but the barrel plug is what we get with the box, the barrel plug charger. As we discussed, like G14 would be coming with a 1440p 144 Hz refresh rate panel, whereas G15 would be coming with 1440p and 165 Hz with good color accuracy, which is said to be approximately up to 100% DCI-P3 color accuracy out of the factory calibrated, which is something really good, I would say, for content creators or like prosumers who need to get color accurate in this stuff. So that's something really nice. And I wish like last time the only issue with the G14 was that the response time of the display wasn't like good. It was like 20 millisecond or something like that, which is not actually like suitable enough for gaming in 2020 scenario. So this is something that's like really good, I would say. Like I am really hopeful to that this time it comes with like a much lesser refresh time, which is something really nice. Now let's talk about like Asus Prime notebook. Like it's like one of the most premium notebook that Asus ever produces. That is Zephyrus Gaming Duo. It has like dual screens, one the primary screen and the second like flip up secondary screen, and it will come with an AMD R9 5900H, which is a respectable CPU still. Like it's most powerful, it should be respected. And whereas it would come with Nvidia's RTX 3080. Now RTX 3080 is something that's necessary for powering two displays that are going to be high refresh rate displays. So that's something like I am really like hopeful for. And RTX 3080 is itself in a really good GPU. So the cooling has came with a couple of changes right here. Now there is a second air intake under the secondary screen, where the screen lifts up and there is a secondary intake there. And also like this time the thermal material over the dies would be liquid metal, which should provide some extra thermal transfer. Now if we talk about screens, the primary screen would be a 4K 120 Hz panels with 100% Adobe RGB coverage, or a 1080p 300 Hz panel that also with a 100% Adobe RGB coverage. So that's something really great for content creators or pro gamers. Like okay, even if we are gamers, if we get accurate color, we love the experience. Like that's the thing, that's the primary goal. So that's something really nice. It would be coming with a 90 watt hour battery. That's would be powerful for like powering what couple of hours mostly. Like I don't believe like it would go much more than that. Now like there comes the star of the show, the Asus Flow X13. It's a 13-inch ultrabook looking device. Its weight is like around 1.3 kgs. Its thickness is 15.3 mm. it's somewhere similar to an XPS 13 and a Razer book, but it's thinner and lighter, and it comes with a 10 by 6 touch screen, like 10:6 I told in the Lenovo videos. So it comes at 10:6 touch screen, that's 120 hertz refresh rate, and a trackpad. It's criticized there because the trackpad is like actually small. I've seen the images and I feel like the trackpad would be really small for that, but I guess that they would be needing some extra space on the keyboard for cooling for such a laptop. Now the laptop comes with a 8 core 5000 series chip, most probably a Ryzen 9 5900HS or a Ryzen 7 5800H. Like that's the two most anticipated ones with a GTX 1650. Now most of you would be thinking like, what's here, like this these are the specs that all other players also provide, let it be HP or Dell or Razer or anyone. The thing would be coming in further, but the thing is like this thing spec the same as an XPS 15, but it weighs much lighter. Now the twist, like what I was thinking about, when you look at the IO, you get like some fairly decent IO with a USB-C port, a USB Type A port, a power button on the right side, and an audio jack and HDMI port on the left side with a XG mobile GPU port. Now for all those who don't know what XG mobile GPU port is, it's a proprietary port designed by Asus only. It consists of actually two ports. One is a USB Type C and another looks like a elongated USB Type C thing, but that's actually the port, that's the replacement for the eGPU docks, like Thunderbolt for the eGPU docks. Now the thing is that eGPUs has been for like a couple of years, I would say like 3 or 4 most probably, and the issue with attempting eGPU to get right was the Thunderbolt port. Like it was so crippled up that if you use a graphics card, you would be losing 20 to 25% of their graphics card performance just because of that single port, which actually isn't acceptable by anyone if he's spending a lot of money on their graphics card. So Asus went ahead, they designed their specifically proprietary port with themselves, and they are calling it the X Mobile GPU port, and they are shipping an eGPU with an RTX 3080 inside it. That's like the XG Mobile GPU, and the bandwidth of the port is just straight up double of out of the box. And the box that the graphics card comes in is much smaller indeed as compared to the other external GPUs. And this is something I could say like this is something that could bring eGPU in the mainstream. Like okay, even if it's expensive, it can bring for the people who have money to do these things. Or like suppose if Asus launched some like GPUs with some lower variants like 3060, 3070, those are some budget ones, they would be coming cheaper. People could buy even that also for their laptops. That's something really good. And the thing is that the eGPU will also be having a bunch of port at its back. Let it be like the USB, the HDMI display ports, or the RJ45 or an SD card reader. And this is because of that like extra USB-C connection slot I told you. This is because of that. But like as the thing is that proprietary, the slot is very proprietary, which makes a sense for Asus because nothing is like this is now right now making its way to the industry. Asus is like pioneer of this, and so this is something I would say like okay, it's acceptable till the time Asus does provide support for it. Now the thing is that the proprietary slot carries up to an 8x Gen 4 connection, not 3 but Gen 4, which means like it will be giving bandwidth enough for the device at any cost. Now the thing is like this is something really good, but the thing is like okay, these things come at price. Like eGPU enclosures are being really heavily priced since the start, and the graphics card were also like graphics card isn't a cheap thing to buy. RTX 3080 isn't something cheap, because the thing is like you would see it's providing a performance really great at $700, but still it's $700. Not everyone can buy that graphics card, and we are getting an eGPU for that. So that's something like to keep in mind. Now the price approximation that came from Asus here was it would be priced around G14 for the laptop and another G14 for the eGPU dock. Now the issue with G14 is like it's a laptop that starts at $900 and go to $1200 or even $1600. So which G14 configuration they're talking about, that would be a thing to watch out. But let's hope that it comes for the best prices that could be available in the market, so that it could make its place and could start a revolution in the gaming industry of GPUs. Well, till then, next talk about the last year's kind of wannabe star, but didn't had the caliber to be the TUF 815. That it was released last year, but it was heavily criticized because of its thermal because they were like not having a good thermal issue. They were having a lot of thermal issues that as a laptop. But this time, like Asus have claimed that they have improved it and completely redesigned the thermals with more heat pipe, better fan, and much more airflow at intakes and exhaust. Now, like it's the image shown by Dave from Dave Lee, the channel. If anyone of you is watching, so they have shown the image. I am putting it on a screen, and it shows some really like beefed up thermal cooling specs. But the thing is that these are not final, so these are the subject to changes. And also there's a thing like, okay, these things are subject to change, but okay, it's like something good. And well, with the latest AMD CPU and GPU, I this laptop in general could be literally a steal of deal, because like, okay, if these things come at a right price, like if somehow Asus keeps the price right, this can be a very steal of deal. Like you could buy this laptop and can like shine with this laptop for years. But the issue here is like the copper for the cooling doesn't come for free. Like copper is a expensive metal. Copper is a metal which is expensive, and while you make like heat pipes and all those fins and everything else with them, it increases the manufacturing process in cost of manufacturing. So yeah, like this is like something like a kind of speculation here. Plus AMD laptops, AMD like AMD SoCs or AMD's like processors this time aren't any cheap, because AMD knows that we knows that AMD know that they are the best, and we know that they know that they are the best. So they are just pricing a premium for that. And hopefully, like I just really hope that Asus Tough A15 could be a really nice budget laptop, because if it is, then I guess like I would be also buying one of these models. Well, not the past year ones. If I would buy a Tough 15, I would buy like this year latest models only. And well, the Tough logo is on that laptop is also changed, and it's look like more modern design. And well, I'm especially including that because I just loved this. And look, it has changed from the wing design. Like I didn't like the winged one that much as I like the more, like it's like modern, rustic and bold. So this is something like really good. And there's like Tough written on the side of the, like on the top of the screen, on the hinge, like the top lid. There's stuff written on one side, and but it's like so subtle, and like I can really live with that, and it makes the laptop look like more stealth and cool. So this is something like extra points to Asus, man. I just loved it. And well, there is another variant from Tough coming, that's Tough Dash F50. Now this is a model new for this year. It's traditionally the highest performing like traditionally what used to happen was that we used to have a higher performing GPU with a higher performing CPU. And well, in the games that were not like so much like CPU demanding till now, like some are not so, but the thing is that both of them would release like more heat. A higher performance GPU and higher performance CPU will release more heat on the cooling system that needs to make the cooling system beefier, that needs to have a better airflow and chassis design that all over sums up and creates a more expensive laptop. So here it's based on like instead of like 8 and 6 core CPUs, it's based on the Intel's 10th gen Tiger Lake CPUs with RTX 30 series graphics cards, and the Tiger Lake CPUs would be a quad core CPUs. Now like that's something I would say like I don't live with that, because the thing is like as the next gen games are coming, they are gonna be CPU intensive also. They are going to use multiple cores simultaneously in a better way. So yeah, this is something like I would say a kind of issue here, but nothing to be said much about this. And I think like it would be enough to play games, and like it would be enough to play esports and like some light titles till years coming on for few years at least. Now the thing is that the 2021 titles release, like let it be the Cyberpunk, the inglorious Cyberpunk, I would say. That's a very resource demanding game, so that need resources, so you can't play it on a quad core easily like that much. With that, it is that you could play it on a hexa core or a octa core, but that's what we got, that's what we have to live with. But like the issue with pricing here is like the issue with AMD pricing in general, I'm covering about desktops and laptops, is the thing is that AMD knows that we know that AMD knows that they are the best, and they also know that we know that they are the best, so they are using the opportunity to get as much money as from us, which is like okay, nothing to be said much of. But this laptop is still gonna be a very fair option for people who just want to play like some light esports gaming and want to enter just into gaming. Okay, so now let's talk about Asus Strix lineup. Strix lineup are usually like those beefy laptops that Asus make. Those are a bit chunky boys, but they actually don't care about the thickness much in general, but they perform well, and Asus actually care about their performance more as compared to the thickness. So the performance, so like we are going to talk about the Strix and Strix Strix Scar edition is like a premium for Strix, is the Scar edition, and Strix are like the regular ones. So we are going to talk about both of them like simultaneously, I would say rather. And so let's start about them. So the thing is that those laptops would be coming with an AMD CPU and an RTX 3070 graphics card with the thermal interface of liquid metal. So like finally Asus is giving liquid metal as a thermal interface in all their laptops, and there would be two options available. One would be 1080 in screens, I would say. One would be 1080p and 300 Hz, and the other would be 1440p and 165 Hz or 144 Hz, I guess. And it comes with that underglow. It's like a signature for this Strix and Scar editions, that there's an underglow on the chassis of the laptop, as shown in the image right here. And the thing is that, well, okay, like these are the basic things about these laptops. And well, if we talk about something special that has been there in this generation, there is like there's a cover at the back which is removable, and they are providing like multiple colored option of that cover with your laptop. So it's like getting a bit customizable there, which I feel like it's really cool. Like, you're just adding a bit of like customizability into your laptop, which would give it a personal flair according to each person. Like suppose like if a laptop is bought by a girl and she likes pink or blue or like silver or grey or any other color, she would just like fit in that. Or if it's bought by a boy and he likes pink or he likes peach color or red or like something like that accent, gamer accents, and he would add that. Or like if you have that extra lid and someone like carbon fiber, they could just like purchase that carbon fiber vinyl skin and then just cover it with that. And also like that's something a really good idea for customizability in a laptop. So like yeah, I like very much resonate with Asus's idea here. And the thing is like these laptops also have a one more interesting thing in them, and that's their optomechanical keyboard. So like this is like first time Asus is trying optomechanical keyboards, if I'm right. And the thing is like those keyboards are very clicky and tactile, which produces a like a loud sound while you're typing. So if you're going to buy these laptops, please make assure that you aren't like offended by this like loud clicking sound, and neither the people around you are offended by that. Please make sure about that. Well, except that if we're gonna talk about much more deeper into that, so the thing is like if we talk about more about the keyboard, then the keyboard deck is a kind of a translucent black plastic. So it like partially exposes the PCB under the deck, which is actually kind of cool, I would say. And it resembles the like N64 controllers from late 90s. And well, if we talk about like the specs of Asus Car Strix edition, so like there's just a slight difference, where like we were getting up to a RTX 3060 in Asus ROG Strix, we would be getting a 3080 in Strix Scar, and the panel would be a 360 Hz panel for super fast gaming. So like okay, these are like some slight bumps which I don't believe like matter that much, because I don't believe like you would be feeling a difference between 300 and 360 Hz right now. And like I would guess like if you are playing at 360 Hz, just try to aim 360 and get some like textures or quality higher. That would just increase your experience, I would say. So the pricing for these are unknown, but these are expected to go a bit higher than like last year, because as we know, AMD has their chips a bit costlier this year. So like this is all for today, guys. And if you liked the video, please share this video, like this video, and comment down below which was your favorite laptop. And also subscribe to the channel if you want more coverage about these kind of tech stuff. Till then, thank you, bye bye, good night.